Thank you very much, Paul. And I really love the fact that when people pronounce my name and they pronounce it correctly and say, have you pronounced it correctly?
Thank you.
So, welcome everyone, and it's great to connect with the audience in New Zealand. As you are aware that I'm going to present about achieving success in digital transformation, and the objective of this presentation is to understand what the definition of digital is and why do we need a digital transformation. There has been some research and analysis done by some great consultancies, and we will share those results. What are the elements of digital transformation? Because usually it's taken as something which is technology driven, and we will see why that is wrong and needs to change, at least at the strategy level. And then some surveys from McKinsey, and how can we succeed in digital transformation, and what business analysts rather can do to achieve success in this age of digitization. So when we talk about digital, lots of people always think that digital is something which is opposite to analog, and obviously it's triggered by technology. But technology has been part of our life since the second industrial revolution. And as we are entering the fourth one, the importance of digital transformation is in products and services is as visible as it possibly can be. And many organizations that we see around us are racing to reap the benefits of digital transformation and to make sure that they are ahead of their competitor, or their business model is evolving in such a way that they stay ahead of the game. Digital essence obviously is based around the customer experience management and providing services at a reduced cost to the clients, and these services are actually excellent services. We are not talking about the same service standards or same quality standard that we are doing in our current state. We are talking about a model or a future state where we are providing excellent service, but at a lower cost and a lower manufacturing effort by the source or the producer of that service or product. So as we all know, as I mentioned previously as well, that we are living in an age of disruption, and we are living in times where the startups like Uber, Alibaba, Airbnb, they have gone from a very single room offices to a multi-billion empires, and the good thing is that they don't have any assets to achieve that success. So they have been able to achieve that success through their digital models and their desire to put customer at the center of it, listen to the customer, make a product before the customer wants that product. And obviously we already know that organizations, for example, Yahoo and Nokia, for that matter, who have not been that keen on digital transformation or seizing the opportunity, have already lost the bet, and they are so much at the bottom that it's difficult for them to revive to their old glory and days. Now so because we are living in an age of disruption, and this, as you know, that the Uber model is also facing disruptions from other startups. The other day, I was reading a news in Saudi Arabia, where Uber was a great success, and now they have female-only car services, a startup called Lena, and this startup is showing 200% growth since the every quarter since the launch last year. So even the disruptors of our age are being disrupted at the moment, and by these small disruptions is obviously creating a very good outcomes for organizations who are able to adopt to this disruption and who are able to take benefit of this disruption. So that's why there is a need for digital transformation. You have it doesn't mean that you have an organization and a working business model that is delivering the outcomes for today, but you have to prepare for your organization for tomorrow. And lots of time we see that if you are turning a blind eye to this, your organization is not going to survive. The business models are going to evolve. The products and services are going to change so rapidly that you may not be able to survive in terms of the competition and competence for that matter. So average reaction time won't help us in this age of disruption. So we have to be moving very quickly. For example, Tesla moved very quickly to electronic vehicles as an example, and now it has taken over organizations like Toyota, who have very classical manufacturing and support and product development models. And when we talk about Toyota, we know that there are lots of models and processing models that we use from Toyota at the moment. But still, I mean, Tesla is more valuable because it has been able to adapt and follow very quickly the new market trends. So this is a graphical representation that McKinsey did. So you see here that you have a head up as an organization. You are having a comfortable growth and revenue increase. But if you fail to respond to the current digital challenge, your growth rate will go down. But and then even then, if you're not going to change your organization's model and adapt to this new reality of digital transformation, you will have an even steeper drop. So this is happening because a lot of new competitions, a lot of new entrepreneurs, a lot of new organizations will pop up. A lot of external circumstances will change. The user behavior, user expectations will change. And since you are not delivering the right outcomes for them, you will not be able to benefit that. And we have already gone through some of the examples of those organizations who are going through this at the moment. Unfortunately, there is no competition for government, and that is why they are being able to survive the lack of adoption for digital transformation. If there would have been a competition to it, I'm sure there would have been a rapid realization of need for digital transformation. So if you are an early fast mover or an early adopter, definitely you can gain more traction and you can gain more success even when you are down at the bottom in digital domain. However, if you are just responding to the change in an average way, you are not going to restore your glory back. This is because the digital trends and the customer expectations, they are changing so rapidly. The dynamics are changing so rapidly that you have to be a fast mover or an early fast mover to make sure your organization is going to survive this. So now we come to the elements of digital transformation. Lots of us, when we talk about digital transformation, we talk about technology. We think digital transformation is only centered around technology piece, yes, technology is the cornerstone of digital transformation, but there are other things. There are other three pillars for digital transformations, and they are the customer experience. If you are building a product, a technology, or a service for a group or of people, and they don't want that product, then you have actually failed your digital transformation initiative. If you have the technology and you don't have the processes, or you don't update the processes to support that technology, to support the full realization of the value, then obviously you're failing at your digital transformation. And since we are living in an age where privacy, security, governance, check and balance, and accountability is rapidly coming into the picture, and the users are more and more aware about it. If you don't have the governance, then obviously it's a threat to your digital transformation. An example or hint about that is the recent privacy settings upgrade for WhatsApp, where lots of people, decided that they are no longer going to use WhatsApp. So as a result, WhatsApp has to change its governance model to keep those, people on board. But we have to be very careful here as well, because there is a perception or a perceived reputational loss as well. So we have to be considerate about that when we are developing our governance structure or governance strategy, that we are able to improve our reputation rather than destroy it by giving policies which are against the local laws, or which are against the liking or the privacy domain of individuals who are going to use that technology. So these four capabilities, if you can work on them, then your digital transformation is going to be successful. If you just work on a single part, predominantly that is technology, then obviously you are up against it. So this is just a bit of a description around those four elements. So when we talk about people, we should consider their voice of the customer. Lots of time people talk about the communication strategy, the need to be able to communicate your ideas and your thoughts. But organizations now are developing, their listening strategies, where they are using, customer feedback, customer surveys, and also, data-driven approaches to analyze the trends or expectations of customer, and using that variance to develop their products. And obviously, you have to develop a collaborative model where you are understanding the mindset of the customer. And if you are one step ahead of what their expectations are going to be in, for example, next 5 years, or how they are going to evolve in next 5 years, then you are creating a stellar product. That's what Steve Jobs said, and that's what Apple has been focusing on, to develop a product which is ahead of our customer expectations. So when you have that developed product, then obviously you grow into an organization like Apple. So the technology aspect, you have to work on its flexibility for future, because lots of time we see a SAP solution or a IT solution being developed, and it is not required in the future. It's scrapped. So we should be able to salvage some sort of technology for our future needs, and we will definitely come to that in later slides as well. So your processes, they should be data driven. Some sort of intelligence and some sort of evidence-based decision making should be there. They should be efficient to avoid waste, and consider both the approaches which are predictive and adaptive, and meaning that they should be highly agile and flexible, and they should be visible and controllable, so that if there is any confusion or in your journey, you're able to leverage the communication strategy to create a shared understanding of the processes. So this is very important. Lots of time organizations, they work in a silos within them, within their structure. They don't have visibility to the end-to-end picture, and as a result, they are delivering great outcomes as an individual unit, but when we put them together, because of this inconsistency or lack of synchronization, they are maybe producing a product at a time which is not required by the other unit at that time, or the other unit is not expecting it to be there, and so this creates a sort of a waste for the organization. And the governance piece, you have to understand the data quality, your content optimization, to make sure that it is relevant to the local regulators. Different countries, they have their own. Some are very liberal, some are have their different views on information sharing and use of IT services. So you have to be flexible and optimize your services and products based on their requirements and needs. So is digital transformation hard? Yes, it is. It is extremely hard to achieve. I mean, we are not talking about any digital transformation. We are talking about a successful one, which is able to achieve your business goals and objectives. Only 30% of the organizations, they succeed in digital transformation, and as I was referring previously, that tech-savvy organizations, they succeed in digital transformation 26% of the time. So it's even less than any normal or comparable transformation, because of the fact that digital transformation is not centered around technology. That's the mistake organizations make very often. They just make it centered around technology and forget about the people who they are developing for, and the processes they need to uplift, and the governance that need to be in place to have a successful outcome. And then obviously lots of organizations are failing in digital transformation. So now what is a recipe or formula to achieve a successful digital transformation? And it has been reported in news, and we also come across lots of within our circles, within our organizations, where digital transformation initiatives are taken, and they try to follow and replicate the success criteria, for example, in one organization or in an other organ, and they fail at it. So we have to admit that digital transformation is complex. We have to understand that it's not something that can be that we can bring in our organization as something which is natural. We have to understand there is a huge change component. There is a huge impact analysis and a continuous feedback and improvement requirement to deliver a digital transformation. And then at the leadership level, leadership should be able to define the goals and objectives of that digital transformation, and make sure that the shared understanding of the value exists throughout the initiative, and then the talent or the resources who are going to work on that digital on that product or service, they are capable enough, or they can use uh, those services or those features that you are offering in that product. Think of it as if you have a iPhone 12 and you don't have a Wi-Fi. So you have to think of the capabilities that you are going to require. Consider it as an app store absence in an iPhone. So the capabilities and the talent who is going to use it must also be uplifted. And then obviously adoption. A few days back, maybe some of you are aware of Lester Cockburn. He's the founder of Agile Manifesto, one of the founders, and he's currently working with his organization called Heart of Agile. So the Heart of Agile is based on 4 principles: collaborate, deliver, reflect, and improve. So reflection and improvement is key to any digital transformation initiative. It's an ongoing process. If you are able to iterate and adapt and then iterate again, so you are actually going to achieve success, and you are on your path to achieve success. Now, what's the successful criteria? What's the success for digital transformation? McKinsey took this task and they asked lots of people in different organizations, I think 5,000 plus in different backgrounds and in different stages of digital transformation to understand what is the core mix of digital transformation. What is the success recipe for digital transformation? As you see that management team is, let's take this for example. Management team established clear change strategy for transformation. So 22% agreed that this this is a correct statement, and then 7% did not agree with whether this is a correct statement or not. So similarly, you can see the understanding or the feedback of people is changing. If the question is changed, for example, let's pick something which is pretty high. For example, 24. Digital self-service technology was implemented for employees and or business partners use. So 24% said that yes, it is. However, 12% did not agree to it. So there is always a room for improvement, because a portion of your target audience is not able to understand the digital transformation. So it means that there is always a room for iterate and learn from those mistakes in your future releases. And also, there is no one size fit all. It depends upon the context. You just can't simply follow a digital transformation model from one organization into another one, because the people are different. The audience who are is different. The capabilities are different. Adaptability is different. So you have to understand the context in which you are working with. This context will give you your strategy. This context will give you the idea on which areas you should work on within the perspective of your organization. So don't think of digital transformation as a prescriptive step-by-step approach. It depends largely on the context, because you will always have an element or a factor of people who are not happy with the change. And your job as a business analyst or as an advocate of digital transformation is to make sure that that percentage is kept at lowest level. It will never be 0, but it should not be close to 100 as well. So one of the the difficult things to bring digital transformation is in the government sector. And as I'm working with the government, and I understand that there are lots of governance issues and lots of gaps in the existing processes, and the understanding of the current state, that it becomes very difficult sometimes to map or understand the future state. That is why I did a bit of a research and found that United Nations consider that the UK government is perhaps the most advanced government in bringing digital transformations or digital initiatives for its people. And when I did more research, I came across some principles that the UK government has established in their digital transformation strategy. And when these principles, as you can see on your screen, they are what they're very simple principles. I mean, they have kept it very simple level, and they are achieving great success with it. It's not complex. It's not having that matrix organizations and matrix, mesh and complex processes. They have broken it down into very simple steps, and they are achieving success with it. So they're starting with the user need. Lots of time we do not start with the user need. We start with the want. We develop a service or a tool for the audience that we are not interacting with when we are collecting the requirements. Rather, it's a strategic, leadership level initiative where you are not touching or engaging with the end user or the end audience who are going to use that service. So you should start with their needs, the needs of the people or the customers, have that listening strategy in place, and you should do less. What does it mean to do less? Lots of times you work on an initiative and you have to cancel that initiative or you have to change that initiative. So always do just enough business analysis, just enough documentation to facilitate the discussion, to facilitate the achieving of future state, because it may be possible down the line for some internal reasons, that is politics or the governance or the resistance to change or funding cut maybe. You may need to change the initiative. So you don't want to waste your effort or your energy like 100% on that initiative. So you have to decide what is less, how much less is enough for your initiative. And then third thing is data. Instead of taking informed decisions, you should always go for evidence-based decision making and evidence-based designing. And that's because we are receiving a lot of data, and lots of time people just use too much data and they make it too complex for it. So the pitfall for this using data is that just consider that the problem is not the data. The problem is just how to procure the right data with high quality. The data is always there. It's around us. It's in the systems. We just have to make sure that we are procuring quality data and the right data in our initiative, and then iterate and then iterate again. Obviously, it's a feedback cycle needs to be developed, and you have to go through your initiative. You break it into small, manageable pieces so that you can learn, inspect, and adopt to your weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And build digital services. This is, a common example is I'm not a robot. So we have to build digital services which make us interactive rather than, just a click a button or sort of an experience which does not is not enjoyable by the audience or customer. And we have to be consistent, not uniform. The practice which is consistent is going to produce consistent results. We don't. It's more around having that flexibility for a range of audience. If in case your audience varies from different to belong to different age groups or to different tastes of products, then you have to be consistent in your output, not uniform, because otherwise you will ruin it for the rest of them. Use agile methods, improve the user experience, and collect performance data. So this performance data will obviously go back to your iteration, and when you are doing that inspection and adoption, it will help you in your retros and improvement areas. Share and reuse technology, salvage whatever you can. Think like a pirate, that whatever is on your ship is not, you should not throw everything off. You should salvage as much as you possibly can, and understand security and privacy issues. We can refer back to the WhatsApp example in that case. So what is the importance of business analysis, and why business analysis is very important in achieving these successful important steps in transformation? How business analysis is going to deliver the outcomes that these strategy based thinkings involve. And then what I've done is that I have tried to map the business analyst tasks into key digital transformation domains. So if you go back to BABOK and Agile extension, you will understand that it is broken into different knowledge areas, and each knowledge area has some elements and some outcomes coming out of those knowledge areas. So start with the user need. Start with the user need. So we have to develop that elicitation. We have to develop requirement analysis and design definitions. So what our requirements are going to, how our requirements are going to trace back to the user need. How are our requirements going to be verified and validated against the quality standard that we have set for our organization? So I'm sure Paul will be able to share this presentation with you guys. It's something which is requires a bit of a thought behind that, and based on your context and based on your organization's needs, you can change or modify this table and this mapping as well.
So Sohail, yeah, definitely afterwards, I'll just get the presentation from you and put it up with the link to the YouTube video.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much, because it will help. Instead of going through, I'm sure the audience understands that how they with their background in IIBA, how to get maximum value out of this mapping table. Yeah. So now let's get back to our competency model as business analysts. So don't think of these as an eight items. Think of these as, the 8 habits that as a business analyst we need to have in ourselves to be a successful digital business analyst. We have to have that customer empathy. You can't produce or develop a product. 95% of the products fail because these products, they don't understand their customers. Only 5% of the products are successful, and these are the products we remember. Nokia, for example, let's take Nokia's example. Nokia disconnected with that customer, empathy. They stop thinking like a customer. They stop thinking about the customer's, requirements and needs, and stick to their old strategy, which did not work, or other cell phone manufacturers overtook them. And now it's a distant memory, Nokia. Envision the outcome. So you have to always plan as a business analyst with the end goal. What are you going to achieve at a strategy level? What are the business needs you are going to satisfy? What are the business problems that are going to be solved through this initiative? So you have to have that envision or of the outcomes you are trying to achieve, and own the product. If you're not owning the product, then you are not aware of the product defects. You are not aware of the product marketing response. You are not aware of how this product is received in the market, and then you cannot learn and adapt to those learnings and learn from those feedbacks, and put value at the center of everything. That is why as a business analyst, I'm not afraid to say that some initiatives, when they are not delivering, when they are not focused on value, for example, at the strategy level, when the value definition is changed, you should not continue to work on that initiative. You should either cancel it, because it's not going to deliver your changed value definition now, or you should modify it. Instead of continuing to work on that initiative, it will create waste and lots of bad reputation for your organization, internally and externally. And enable smart decisions. How can a business analyst, a digital business analyst, enable smart decisions when the business analyst is able to understand the data, when the business analyst is able to understand the data trends, when the business analyst is able to define the quality measures for that data to use in his or her initiative, and learn continually. So that's where that heart of agile mindset comes into picture, where we are collaborating, delivering, reflecting, and improving. We should be able to respond to change and learn from what's happening inside the organization, and what happened to similar organizations when they went through a similar initiative or change. There are lots of research opportunities that are available in internet, or as a human interaction through LinkedIn, through other forums, that business analysts can learn and do its research. Or some organizations, they also do experimentation when it's not possible to gain the information. For example, the initiative is a new one. We're talking about 5G at the moment in telecom. So if the initiative is a new one, let's release it to some end users, or develop some limited use cases and see how the response is. For example, 5G is being used in medical remote medication techniques, where a surgeon is able to perform with a very low latency operation at a remote location in for example, Brazil. And when we are talking about latency, imagine you're doing an eye operation. Somebody is doing an eye operation on you, and they have a 500 millisecond latency. That's a lot. So the context is also important in your learning. And drive change and engagement. So lots of time we see that the business analyst just develops the product or the technology, the processes, the governance, and then they disengage from the initiative. They should make sure that the change, they should act as a change managers. I don't see a rational to hire a separate change manager than the business analyst who is currently already working on the initiative, because that business analyst understands the context, understands the value and the objectives much more than someone who just comes there for change, for driving the change. So these are the sort of decisions that business analysts can influence and advocate within the organization to see, so that the organization starts seeing the value of business analysts. And then obviously support evolving business models. This can be within the same initiative, and this can be across the different initiative within the same organizations. And business analysts will then be able to support or help to leverage cross-team capabilities as well. So these are the 8 key habits that a digital business analyst should develop and work on if they want to be successful in bringing digital transformations and or any sort of transformation in their organization. So now, digital transformation roadmap. This obviously, as I mentioned, that the context is very important when we are talking about digital transformation. There is no one size fit all sort of a thing. The factors which are internal and external to the organizations are going to influence and design our strategy to tackle that initiative. So what I've done here is it's just our representation. You guys can go back and think of your own journeys and think of your own roadmap as to where we are going to start and where we are going to end in that digital transformation and journey. And what are the some initiatives, they just stop with the change, and some initiatives they go in a cycle where they go on a continuous improvement and learning path for that organization. So you have to work on your own digital transformation roadmap and make sure that this roadmap has a properly defined end and start points. And sometimes, because organizations they want to see quick results, quick turnarounds, because they're investing money on it, and so you can start with identifying quick wins, the low-hanging fruits within the initiatives, like a quick process fix. And when you can achieve that, it will increase the leadership team's trust in your capabilities as an enabler of digital change. So final thoughts before we go into the questioning section. Transformations, we have to understand that the transformations are hard and digital transformations are harder. So it's going back to the acceptance of the problem, business problem, and then only when you accept it as a problem, you can turn it into an opportunity for yourself or for your organization. Digital transformation is a stepwise approach, again emphasizing the need for iteration and the need for learning and managing the change into small steps, sort of having that decomposition, the appropriate decomposition working for you, just enough decomposition working for you, rather than work on the whole initiative and blow everything up. And BA professionals can play a key role in transformations. We can understand the voice of the customer. We can maintain that traceability to the business context. We can own the product. We can continually learn. We can help decision makers, facilitate decision makers in evidence-based decision making, and we can support and evolve different business models that are being developed so that it's an end-to-end successful delivery. People, process, governance, and technology need to be understood and managed together. So we have to see whether the technology is required by the people. Just because, an organization I know, they work on a SAP initiative, spent $5 million on it, and at the end of the day they realized they just didn't need that. Their current system or the current IT support was working perfectly for them. It was just something that the CEO envisaged, and they implemented a $5 million solution without considering the people and the processes that are going to be affected with it. And data helps through digital transformation to improve quality of user stories and acceptance criteria. So when you have those data touch points available to you, you will know what will be your success KPI. So once you develop that success KPI, you can change, or you can customize it into your acceptance criteria, or even use that KPI or that data in your acceptance criteria. Why not? If data is reliable, of high quality, then why not use it in your acceptance criteria? And collaboration is the key to digital transformation, because you have to create that shared understanding of what you're going to achieve. If everybody is pointing towards a different direction, northwest, southeast, you're not going to converge them on the business goals that you are trying to achieve through that initiative. So you have to have that shared understanding of value, shared understanding of the outcomes that you are going to achieve through that initiative. And who is better for this than a business analyst, because they have the stakeholder identification, stakeholder engagement, and stakeholder facilitation skills that will enforce that shared understanding of value. So that's it from my side. Now I'm open to any questions or discussions, and I look forward to it.
Righto, thanks very much for that. That was great stuff. I'm just going to kick off with a question, and then I'll unmute everyone, and people can ask their questions. But I just want to kick off with a question and come back to earlier in your presentation, you talked about digital and government. And I was quite interested because you made a statement about keeping the documentation and the detail minimal. And me as well, working in government, I'm quite interested to hear how you've coped with that, because typically I found that government don't want minimal detail. They want this copious amounts of documentation and detail all the time. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on that. Whilst he's responding, I'll unmute everyone. If you've got a question, please feel free to ask.
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, that's a very common, problem with working with the government, that you have lots of documentation. As a BA who's working on a digital initiative, I sometimes, yes, there are some documentations which are marked as very, very important, and they are required to have that sort of an accountability within the organization. And so what I have done is that the documentation that is not sometimes necessary is I have or the kickoff segment of it, I have changed it into PowerPoint presentations. So this presentation, this idea, other organizations like my stakeholders are really starting to love, because it's short and crisp. And the other thing I'm doing now is, I am leveraging documentation capabilities within my organization. There is a strategy and governance department, so I'm leveraging.
I don't know of any specific word right now that someone's screaming.
Okay, so I'll just muted you quick because there's some background noise coming through. Continue.
Yeah. So I've also leveraged on the documentation that other departments within my enterprise are using. So in this way, I have cut the documentation, because lots of the documentation is a repeat. It's being done by the same by different people, and with the same outcome. So I've decided to collaborate with those departments and see how much salvageation I can do for the documents from there, and in this way create save my time and rather focus on the initiative itself.
Good. Is there anyone on the panel that has a question? Just unmute yourself and then you can go ahead. Okay, whilst people are thinking the question, I just had another question that I was thinking about. And in your final slide, you talked about the stakeholders and getting them all on the same page. And I'm quite interested in stakeholders that do not have a digital mindset, stakeholders that don't understand what what being digital is. I mean, my understanding of digital is not just about having an online presence. It's more than that, and how do you educate those stakeholders to get them on the same page, because they're coming with different ideas what digital is?
Yeah, that's a great question, and the answer has it: educate them.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, so the business analyst is such a unique art that you don't expect the stakeholders to come to your level. So you go to their level. So what I do is that before a workshop, I do a bit of a sessions, so these sessions I group the stakeholders based on their understandings. I mean, usually the SMEs or the technical architects, they know and understand with lots of information, but sometimes from business, they don't have that information and they don't have that capability. So what I do is I sort of have a preparation session with them, where I educate them, where I explain them the technique that will be used, why we are just sort of a refresher, so that they are feeling confident about their contribution, because you don't want a stakeholder who's a critical one and is quiet in the whole workshop, because he or she is gonna raise a hell of a noise at the end of it when the acceptance phase comes. So it's more around as a BA, going to their level and then start picking them up. You don't need all the stakeholders at the same level. Yeah, variance is acceptable, but it's not a 0 and 1 approach. It should be at least 1 and 0.5 at least.
Great, thank you. I'm just going to open up. If anyone has a question, we can take 1 or 2 questions. Otherwise, we'll end the session for today. So just unmute yourself. If you've got a question, don't be shy. Okay, going once. Going twice. Okay, I'll assume that no one's got a question. Thank you so very much for that. It was really great to hear your presentation and get a few ideas. So I will put the recording up on the YouTube channel probably over the weekend. And then the presentation slide deck I'll get from Sohail as well, and we'll make that available to the YouTube channel as well. So with that, let's end it for the day. Again, thank you for everyone for attending. Thank you, Sohail, for a great presentation. Really enjoyed it, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Oh, there's one comment coming through. Okay, yes, it's just looking forward to the email with the PowerPoint. Great, we will send it out shortly. Right, thanks everyone. Thanks for attending.
Yeah, thanks everyone.